I kicked 23 people out of my penthouse on New Year's Eve. My entire family, parents, siblings, aunts, uncles, cousins who hadn't spoken to me in 4 years. I watched them scramble for their coats in my marble entryway while my actual friends stood frozen with champagne glasses, and I felt absolutely nothing except relief. But I'm getting ahead of myself. My name is Kira, and for most of my 20s, I was the family embarrassment, the cautionary tale my mom Diane whispered about on Sunday dinners, the daughter who wasted her college degree to play on the internet. I started my YouTube channel when I was 24. Beauty and lifestyle content, nothing groundbreaking at first, just me in my cramped studio apartment bathroom, testing drugstore makeup and talking about budgeting hacks for young women trying to make it in expensive cities. My family hated it. "When are you going to get a real job?" my dad Gerald asked every single time I saw him. He worked in insurance, wore the same rotation of 5 ties, and believed anything creative was a hobby, not a career. My older sister Becca was worse. She was the golden child, a corporate lawyer who made decent money and never missed an opportunity to remind me that she had stability and benefits and a 401k. She brought up my YouTube channel at every family gathering like it was a punchline. "Still making videos in your bathroom, Kira?" she'd say, laughing that sharp laugh that made my jaw tight. "What's this week's topic? How to be broke in your 20s?" My younger brother Colin usually just ignored me. He was in medical school, my parents' pride and joy, and I was basically invisible to him unless he needed someone to mock to make Becca laugh. I spent 3 years like that, working a soul-crushing administrative job during the day, editing videos until 2 in the morning, spending every spare dollar on better equipment and learning editing software. My apartment smelled like instant ramen and ambition. The walls were thin enough that I could hear my neighbor's TV through the drywall, and I filmed with a towel shoved under the door to block the hallway noise. My subscriber count grew slowly. 50 followers, then 200, then 1,000. My family didn't notice. I quit my admin job when I hit 50,000 subscribers. It was a Tuesday in March, and I walked into my boss's office with my resignation letter on regular printer paper because I couldn't afford the fancy stuff. My hands shook so hard the paper rattled. I was making just enough from ad revenue and a few small sponsorships to cover my rent and groceries. Barely, but I believed in what I was building. My mom cried when I told her. Not happy tears. "You're throwing your life away," she said over the phone. I could hear the clatter of dishes in the background, the sound of running water. "What happens when this internet thing doesn't work out? You can't put YouTube on a resume, Kira." My dad didn't even call. He sent a text. Disappointed, but not surprised. Becca posted on Facebook about her latest case win the same day. 67 likes. My mom commented 3 times. That was 4 years ago. I grew my channel to 3 million subscribers. I expanded into podcasting, launched a product line, started a second channel focused on financial literacy for women. I hired a team of 12 people. I moved into a penthouse in the city with floor-to-ceiling windows that overlooked the downtown skyline. My family didn't congratulate me once.
They didn't watch my videos, didn't like my posts. When I mentioned a brand deal with a major cosmetics company at a family dinner 2 years ago, Becca said, "That's nice," in the same tone you'd use for a kid showing you a crayon drawing. I stopped going to family dinners after that. I sent birthday cards, I called on holidays, I was civil, but I built my entire life without them, and honestly, I forgot they existed most days. Then, December 28th happened. I was planning a New Year's Eve party at my place. Not huge, maybe 40 people, close friends, some of my team members, a few other creators I'd gotten tight with over the years. I'd hired caterers, bought champagne that cost more per bottle than my first month's rent in that studio apartment, and decorated my place with white and gold everything. The elevator in my building required a key card for the penthouse level. Security was tight. So when my doorbell rang at 3 in the afternoon on December 28th, I assumed it was the event planner dropping off rental glasses early. I opened the door in leggings and an oversized sweater, my hair in a bun, no makeup. My mother stood in my hallway. She looked exactly the same. Same short haircut, same lipstick shade she'd worn my entire childhood, same expression of vague disapproval. Behind her stood my dad, Becca, Colin, and my Aunt Faye. "Surprise," my mom said, spreading her arms like this was a heartwarming reunion. I just stared. "Aren't you going to invite us in?" Becca asked, already stepping past me into my entryway. She was wearing a designer coat I recognized from a recent collection, her heels clicking on my marble floors. "Wow, Kira, this place is incredible." They filed in like they belonged there. My dad headed straight for the living room windows, hands in his pockets. Colin was already taking a selfie in front of my custom bookshelves. "How did you get up here?" I finally managed. "I told the doorman we were your family," my mom said brightly. She was touching everything, running her fingers along my console table, picking up the art books I kept stacked there. "He was so sweet, said you must be so proud to have us visiting." My stomach dropped. "What are you doing here?" "We wanted to see you before the new year," my dad said. He'd found my bar cart and was examining a bottle of whiskey that cost $400. "Your mother's been worried. You never come around anymore." I could have laughed, would have if my chest didn't feel so tight. "We also heard you're having a party," Becca said. She'd made herself comfortable on my couch, the white leather one I'd saved for months to buy. "New Year's Eve, right? We thought we'd come early, spend some time catching up." "Who told you about my party?" "I saw it on Madison's Instagram," Colin said, not looking up from his phone. Madison was one of my editors, a 26-year-old girl with pink hair and a tendency to overshare on social media. I made a mental note to have a conversation with Madison about privacy. "So we figured, why not make it a family affair?" my mom continued. She'd moved into my kitchen now, opening my fridge like she paid the mortgage. "You never invite us to anything, Kira. We wanted to be part of your life." Part of my life. These people who'd spent 4 years pretending I didn't exist wanted to be part of my life. "We can stay through New Year's," Becca added, "maybe a few days after. I took the week off work." "I didn't invite you," I said quietly. My mom's face did that thing, that slight tightening around her eyes that meant I'd said something that disappointed her. "Kira, we're family. You don't need to invite family." "Yeah, actually, I do." The room went silent except for the hum of my refrigerator and the distant sound of traffic 40 floors below. "I think you need to leave," I said. My dad turned from the window. "Excuse me?" "You heard me. I need you to leave." "Kira, don't be dramatic," Becca said, but her voice had an edge now. "We drove 6 hours to see you. I didn't ask you to." "This is how you treat your family?" my mom asked. Her voice was shaking now, the slight tremor she got when she was building up to tears. "After everything we've done for you?" I almost laughed again. Almost. "What exactly have you done for me?" "We raised you," my dad said. His face was getting red the way it always did when someone challenged him. "Put a roof over your head, paid for your education. And I'm grateful for that. I am. But that was 18 years ago. What have you done for me since?" Silence. That's what I thought. "So here's what's going to happen. You're going to leave my apartment, you're going to cancel whatever hotel rooms you didn't book because you assumed you could stay here, and you're going to go back to your lives and pretend I don't exist, which is what you've been doing anyway." "You're being incredibly selfish," Becca said. She stood up now, and I could see she was genuinely angry. Her face had that pinched look, the one she probably used in court. "We came here to support you." Support me? You've never supported me, not once. Not when I started my channel, not when I quit my job, not when I signed my first real brand deal. You ignored every milestone, every achievement. You made me feel like what I was building didn't matter. Because it was a risk, my mom said. We were trying to protect you. No, you were trying to make yourselves feel better about your own choices. You were embarrassed that I wasn't doing what you thought I should be doing. My Aunt Faye, who hadn't spoken yet, finally piped up. Your mother called me crying multiple times about your decisions, Kira. We were all concerned. Then where were those concerns when I needed help, when I was working 2 jobs and editing until I couldn't see straight? Where was the family support then? No one answered. That's what I thought. Now get out. Kira, my mom started, get out. They left. Slowly, resentfully, but they left. My dad muttered something about unbelievable under his breath. Becca gave me a look that could have curdled milk. Colin didn't even look at me. My mom was the last at the door. I hope you realize what you're doing, she said quietly. Family is supposed to forgive each other. You're right, but forgiveness requires an apology, and I haven't heard one. She left without another word. I closed the door and leaned against it, my heart hammering so hard I could hear it in my ears. My hands were shaking. The apartment felt too big suddenly, too quiet except for the faint wail of a siren somewhere far below. I thought that was the end of it. I was wrong.
2 days later, on December 30th, I woke up to 17 missed calls. My phone was vibrating on my nightstand, the screen lit up with notifications. My best friend, Jade, had texted me 4 times. Check your Instagram. Kira, call me. What the fuck? Call me right now. I opened Instagram with my stomach already sinking. Becca had posted. It was a photo of her standing in front of my building, dressed in that designer coat, smiling at the camera. The caption made my blood run cold. So proud of my baby sister, had the most amazing time visiting her in her beautiful new home. It's been incredible watching her journey, especially knowing our family was there from the start, supporting her dreams even when they seemed impossible. Can't wait to celebrate the new year with her and continue being part of her success story. Family is everything. R.A.D. Haig. She'd tagged me, tagged my business account. The post had over 2,000 likes already. I scrolled through the comments, person after person congratulating her on being such a supportive sister, praising my family for believing in me. My hands went numb. There were more posts. My mom had shared a throwback photo of me as a teenager, captioned, "From our little girl to a successful entrepreneur, we always knew you'd do amazing things, Kira. So grateful we could be there for every step of your journey." Colin posted a selfie from my apartment, the one he'd taken in front of my bookshelves, with, "Family time at my sister's incredible place. Proud doesn't even cover it." My dad shared an article about supporting your children's unconventional career paths, with a long caption about how he and my mom always encouraged me to follow my dreams. I sat in my bed, my white duvet bunched around me, staring at these posts like they were written in a foreign language. They were rewriting history. They were taking credit. And thousands of people were believing it. My phone rang. Jade. "Tell me you've seen it," she said the second I answered. "I'm looking at it now." "Kira, what the fuck? Your sister is acting like she's been your manager this whole time." I couldn't speak. My throat felt like I'd swallowed glass. "Are you okay?" Jade's voice was softer now. "No," I whispered. "What are you going to do?" I looked at the time. December 30th. My party was tomorrow night. I thought about my family, probably in some hotel downtown, posting their revisionist history to the internet. I thought about the years I'd spent building everything alone. I thought about my mom's disappointed sighs, and my dad's texts, and Becca's constant digs. I thought about them showing up to my home uninvited, acting entitled to my space, my success, my life. I said, "I'm going to finish planning my party, and if they show up, I'm going to make sure everyone knows the truth." Jade was quiet for a second. Then, "I'll be there early to help." I spent December 30th documenting everything. I screen recorded all their posts, saved every comment, and made a timeline of every interaction we'd had over the past 4 years. Every declined invitation, every ignored message, every family dinner where I was treated like an afterthought. I also made some calls. By 10 p.m., I had confirmation that 17 additional family members were planning to show up to my party. Word had spread through my extended family's group chat about my amazing success and how Becca and my parents had reconnected with me. They all wanted in now.
I didn't sleep that night. I sat in my living room with the city lights spread out below me like scattered diamonds, and I planned exactly what I was going to say. New Year's Eve arrived cold and clear, the kind of night where the air bit at your skin and the city seemed to sparkle extra bright, like it knew something big was about to happen. My caterers arrived at 4 p.m. By 6, my apartment looked like something out of a magazine. White roses in crystal vases on every surface, string lights woven through my bookshelves, the champagne tower in my dining room caught the light and threw little rainbows across the walls. Jade showed up at 6:30 with her girlfriend Mara. They both hugged me at the door. "You ready for this?" Jade asked. I nodded. My dress was black and simple, expensive in a way that didn't need to announce itself. I looked like I'd already won, which was the point. "They're definitely coming," Mara said. "I saw your sister post a story 2 hours ago. She's getting ready for an exclusive New Year's celebration with family." My jaw clenched. Perfect. Guests started arriving at 7. My friends, my team, other creators I'd collaborated with over the years. The energy was good, easy. People laughed and clinked glasses and complimented my home like they meant it. Nobody knew what was coming. At 8:15, my doorbell rang. I'd been watching my building's security camera feed. I saw them in the lobby 10 minutes earlier, a whole crowd of them. My parents, my siblings, aunts, uncles, cousins I barely remembered. 23 people total, all dressed like they were attending a gala. I answered the door myself. My mom stood at the front, wearing a navy dress and her best jewelry. She smiled when she saw me, the kind of smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Kira, happy almost New Year, sweetheart." Behind her, the rest of my family crowded the hallway. Becca wore red, her hair styled in perfect waves. Colin had on a suit that looked new. My dad stood with his arms crossed, already looking irritated. "What are you doing here?" I asked calmly. "We're here for your party," my mom said, like it was obvious. "We told you we wanted to celebrate with you." "And I told you that you weren't invited." Becca laughed, that same sharp sound. "Come on, Kira, don't be childish. We're family. We drove all the way here." "I noticed you've been posting a lot about me this week." My voice stayed level, conversational. Behind me, I could feel my party getting quieter. People were starting to notice. About how supportive you've always been, how you were there from the start. My mom's smile faltered just slightly. "We're proud of you, honey. Is that so wrong?" "It's wrong when it's a lie." The hallway went silent. "Excuse me?" my dad said. I stepped aside from the doorway, but not to let them in. I stepped aside so they could see into my apartment, see the 40 people who'd gone completely quiet, all watching this unfold. "Come in," I said. "Since you're so determined to be part of my life, let's make sure everyone knows the real story." They filed in, uncertain now. I could see it in the way Becca's eyes darted around, in how my mom's hand went to her necklace, but they came in anyway, because backing down would have looked worse. I closed the door behind them. The click of the lock was the only sound in my apartment.
"Everyone," I said, raising my voice slightly, "I'd like you to meet my family. My parents, Diane and Gerald, my sister Becca, my brother Colin, and various other relatives who I haven't seen or heard from in years." I could see Madison, my editor, near the window. Her phone was in her hand, but lowered. Good. I told her earlier to record if things got interesting. They showed up tonight uninvited.
I continued, just like they showed up at my apartment 2 days ago, uninvited. They've been posting all week about how supportive they've been of my career, how they were there from the start, how proud they are. My mom's face was getting pale. Kira, maybe we should talk about this privately? No, I cut her off. You wanted to be public about your support. Let's be public. I pulled out my phone and opened it to the screenshots I'd saved. This is my sister Becca 3 years ago at a family dinner asking when I was going to get a real job. This is my dad texting me that he was disappointed but not surprised when I quit my admin position to do YouTube full-time. This is my mom telling me I was throwing my life away. For 4 years, I said, I built everything you see here. This apartment, my company, my team. I did it without a single word of encouragement from any of you, without one congratulations, without one share of my content, or one like on my posts. Becca tried to speak. That's not entirely. Yes, it is, I said. My voice was louder now, harder. It's entirely true. You all treated me like I was an embarrassment, like what I was doing didn't matter because it wasn't what you thought success should look like. My Uncle Richard cleared his throat. Now, Kira, that's not fair. We were concerned. You weren't concerned. You were embarrassed. There's a difference. The room felt like it was holding its breath. And now, I continued, now that I've made something of myself, now that I'm successful by even your narrow definitions, you all want in. You want to show up to my parties. You want to post about being my supportive family. You want to take credit. We're not taking credit, my mom said. Her voice was shaking. We're just proud. You don't get to be proud. You don't get to claim you were there for me when you weren't. You don't get to rewrite history because it's convenient now. Becca's face was red. This is ridiculous. We're your family. We loved you even when what? I asked. Even when I was chasing a dream you thought was stupid? Even when I was working myself to exhaustion doing something you openly mocked? She didn't answer. I looked at each of them one by one. My mom with her trembling hands, my dad with his clenched jaw, Becca with her defensive glare, Colin who was staring at the floor like he wished he could disappear. I gave you 4 years to be part of my life, 4 years of invitations you ignored, 4 years of accomplishments you dismissed, 4 years of me trying to maintain a relationship with people who made it very clear they didn't respect what I was doing. That's not true, my mom whispered. It is true, and you know it. All of you know it. The silence stretched out. Outside, I could hear the muffled sound of fireworks from an early celebration somewhere in the city. So here's what's going to happen. You're going to leave, all of you. You're going to delete those posts claiming you supported me, and you're going to stop telling people you were part of my success.
And if we don't? My dad asked. His voice had that challenging tone, the one he used when he thought he had leverage. Then I'll tell the real story publicly, with receipts. Text messages, voicemails, documented proof of every single time you made me feel like what I was doing didn't matter. I have 3 million subscribers who'd be very interested in the truth. Becca laughed, but it sounded hollow. You're going to air out family drama to millions of people? That's pathetic. No, I said, what's pathetic is showing up uninvited to someone's home and trying to claim credit for work you had nothing to do with. My mom started crying, real tears this time, rolling down her cheeks and smudging her mascara. I can't believe you're doing this on New Year's Eve to your own family. I can't believe it took you 4 years to pretend you cared. My dad grabbed my mom's arm. Come on, Diane, we're not staying here to be insulted. Good, I said, don't. They moved toward the door. Colin walked past without a word, his face completely blank. Becca stopped in front of me. We were the same height in heels, and for a second, we just looked at each other. You're going to regret this, she said quietly. The only thing I regret is wasting 4 years trying to get you to see me. She flinched, just slightly. Then she turned and walked out. My mom was the last one at the door. She looked at me with those tear-filled eyes, and I almost felt bad. Almost. "I'm your mother," she said. "I know. That's what makes this so sad." She left. I closed the door and turned to face my apartment full of silent guests, 40 people staring at me like they'd just witnessed something they couldn't quite process. Then Jade started clapping, slow at first, then faster. Then Mara joined her, then Madison, then my whole team, then everyone else, until my entire apartment erupted in applause and cheers that bounced off the high ceilings and the windows overlooking the city. Someone turned the music back up. The caterers started pouring champagne again. People came up to me one by one, hugging me, telling me I was brave, telling me they were proud. "That was the most badass thing I've ever seen," Madison said. "I got the whole thing on video, by the way, just in case." "Thanks," I said. My hands were shaking, but I felt light, lighter than I'd felt in years. Jade handed me a glass of champagne. "How do you feel?" I thought about it, really thought about it. "Free," I said. The party continued. When the clock struck 12, I stood at my window watching fireworks explode over the city skyline, the colors reflecting off the glass buildings and the river beyond. My phone buzzed, a net text from a number I didn't recognize. "This is your Aunt Faye. What you did tonight was cruel and unnecessary. Your mother is devastated. I hope you're happy." I deleted it without responding. Another text, this time from Becca. "You just destroyed this family. I hope your followers are worth it." I blocked her number. 3 texts from Colin, all variations of "that was messed up" and "mom is crying." I blocked him too. Then a text from my dad. "Don't bother coming to any family events anymore. You're not welcome." I stared at that one for a long moment. Then I typed back, "I wasn't planning on it. Happy New Year." I blocked her number before he could respond. The next morning, I woke up to my apartment still decorated, empty champagne bottles in the sink, and the kind of quiet that felt peaceful instead of lonely. Around noon, Jade showed up with bagels and orange juice. "Any regrets?" she asked. "None," I said, and I meant it. "Good, because I need to show you something." She pulled out her phone and opened Instagram. People are talking. My DMs were full of messages from followers who'd heard what happened. Most of them shared their own stories of toxic family members, of relatives who only showed up when there was something to gain, of having to set boundaries with people who should have supported them from the start. "You inspired a lot of people last night," Jade said. I just told the truth. Exactly. My family never deleted their posts. I didn't make them. I just moved on. Within a week, I noticed my mom had unfollowed my business account, then Becca, then everyone else. They scrubbed me from their social media like I'd never existed, which was almost funny considering how desperately they'd wanted to claim me a week earlier. I didn't reach out, didn't apologize, didn't explain myself to relatives who started calling asking what happened, why I'd embarrassed the family, why I couldn't just let things go. I just kept building. February brought a massive brand deal. March, I hired 3 new team members. April, I signed a book deal. June, Forbes featured me in their 30 under 30 list. Every milestone I celebrated with the people who'd actually been there. The friends who supported me when I was editing videos at midnight. The team who believed in my vision. I didn't miss my family. I thought I might, during holidays or birthdays, but I didn't. What I'd been missing all those years was the idea of a supportive family, not the reality of the one I had. It's been 11 months since that New Year's Eve. I haven't heard from any of them, and I'm okay with that. Sometimes people ask me if I regret cutting off my family, if I think family should always forgive each other, always find a way back. I tell them the truth. Family isn't just blood. Family is the people who show up for you when it matters, the people who celebrate your wins and support you through your losses. The people who believe in you even when your dreams look impossible. And sometimes, the healthiest thing you can do is walk away from people who make you feel small, even if they're related to you. Last week, I moved into an even bigger place, a house this time, with a yard and enough space for a proper content studio. Jade helped me unpack, and we christened the new place with pizza and cheap wine, sitting on the floor because my furniture hadn't arrived yet. "To new beginnings," she said, raising her plastic cup. "To new beginnings," I echoed. My phone buzzed with a new notification, a new follower milestone, 4 million subscribers. I didn't post about it on my personal social media, didn't need to. The people who mattered already knew. And the people who didn't? They were exactly where I left them, on the other side of a closed door, wondering why I never looked back. I don't think about that New Year's Eve often anymore, but when I do, I don't remember my mother's tears or my sister's anger or my father's disappointment. I remember the sound of applause filling my apartment, the feeling of finally standing up for myself, the lightness in my chest when I closed that door. I remember choosing myself, and I'd do it again in a heartbeat.